Namaste. Thanks for joining me. It's Jo from Himalaya Yoga and Trek. And today we're going to do some hip openers. So some easy, some not so easy. Take it easy and listen to your body. Just do what you can do. Draw back when it gets maybe a little bit too much, but let's just take it nice and slow, nice and easy. So starting on our backs, come onto your mat, and I hope you can see me all okay. And gently just drawing yourself down as we just start with some gentle rolling back and forth, just to wake up the spine a little bit. Maybe you've been sleeping and this is your first exercise of the day. One more, and come to just lie on your back. All right, so drawing the knees in. Actually, we'll just turn those lights on. I think it's quite dark. Maybe that's a little better for you. All right, I think that's better. So drawing the knees in and allowing the shoulders to be relaxed onto the mat. And just take a little moment here to feel the hips as you can just gently rock back and forth with the knees. Take your time to focus on the hips and just waking them up gently. Draw them into the chest, taking the hands on the outside. Maybe you notice that the pelvis has tilted up a little, and that's okay for this one. And the next, I'm going to ask you these 4 movements that we're going to do, and taking the hands now on the outside of the legs, drop the pelvis down, so articulate along the pelvis. So you might find that there's a little small arch in the back. And just check that out. Maybe articulate the pelvis up again so it's drawing almost down towards the mat, so that the arch that you curved in the spine in the lower back is now flat along the mat, and then make the curve come into the spine again. Hold it there. And now leaving the pelvis on the floor, so it's not come back up. Just leave the pelvis here like so. Take the outside of the legs, open up the feet so hip width apart, and then draw the knees further down towards the armpits. See if you can keep the pelvis on the floor, so not letting it tilt too far back up. Keep that pelvis down, draw the shoulders down and back, and feel the broadening and widening of that adduction happening in the hips, opening up a little more now. Let's release it. Take a breath. Inhale, exhale as you draw those knees down towards the armpit. Remember, be mindful of the pelvis. Be mindful of the shoulder blades resting on the mat as well. So it's a little deeper opening this time. Check into the hips, see how it feels. You can always draw back if it's not feeling or it's too deep for you and it might be a little bit discomfort there. So draw back one more time and bringing those knees as far into the armpits as is possible for you at this point. Take an inhale, release that all down. And the last one we're going to do is take the hands inside and take the feet together. So the soles of the feet are together. Take hold of the ankles, and the elbows are going to press into the sides of below the knees, so into the legs, and then just draw the feet towards you, a big opening here. Exhale. Inhale, relax a little more. Let the feet come out. So I'm just going to move so that you can see what I'm doing. Soles of the feet together, take hold near the ankles, elbows go into the legs. Exhale, draw the feet down, the elbows press the knees away from each other, big opening up in those hip flexors. Draw the knees together a little, let the feet go long, let the arms go long. Exhale as you draw it down towards the pelvis, opening up the hips, pressing into the knees with the elbows. Check how that feels for you. And then gently release. So taking the feet together now with the hands on the knees, and then making just a few little circles, opening up and closing. Keep going. I'm just going to turn around to be with you and keep going with those circles, opening, closing. Let's go the other direction now. Inhale as you draw the knees towards you. Exhale as you draw the knees away. Nice, everybody. And then coming back to center, place your palms of the hands down onto the mat and then just tap your toes to the mat. Last one, come back to center, crossing over the feet, and see if you can roll yourself all the way back up to seated. Let's extend the feet long, or the legs long rather, and let's start to, as you inhale, you're going to exhale, bring your right leg up, inhale, let it go, exhale, left leg, and keep going. Warming up the legs, the backs of the hamstrings, the quadriceps, the front of the legs. And come to that stillness again. So you might want to just shake it all out for a second. And come to that rest. So I'm going to face you now so that you can see what I'm doing. And then let's bring our right foot will come over that left knee and just do some little ankle rotations here. So we're sitting up nice and tall, coming up out of the hips, nice length in the spine, and just go back the other way now. So rotating in the ankles, keep that engagement of your left long extended leg, toes towards the ceiling. Not letting it just fall asleep and relax there too much. And staying with the same leg, we're going to inhale and bring the knee up towards the chest. Change the position of the hand and exhale, press it away. Use the breath to inhale it up, exhale down. Come back to center. Now taking your left hand onto the arch of that right foot, please start to just draw it forward, draw back. Let the flow and that movement just wake up that whole hip flexor area, opening it up. Such a nice movement. Again, don't forget about that left foot. Keep it awake. And relax it down. Extend that right leg long. Maybe take a little Dandasana here. Let the hands come by the sides of the hips. Maybe you can lift up. And relax it down. Great. So let's bring that left foot now over that right, just above the knee if that's possible for you, but don't let it rest on the knee. That would be really uncomfortable. Your right foot going to ceiling, and let's start with some rotation of that left ankle. Waking up those little ankle bones. We're going to do a lot for you today. Let's circle the other direction. Let's forget how much weight is being placed on these small areas of the body. This tiny little ankle holds your entire weight. All right. So we start on the left side now. So we inhale, draw the knee up towards the chest. Change the position of the hand. Exhale, press it away. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then taking that right hand into the arch of the foot and just pressing it back. As much of an opening as you can manage right now. And if it's not feeling good for you, maybe you just want to just do a small little front and back opening, just to get that movement and that awakening up of that left hip. And come back to center when you're ready. Extend both legs long. As we start to now draw in both feet and join the soles of the feet together, so we go into some extension and flexion of the spine as well as in the hip flexors. So taking hold of just above the ankles, and we're going to extend in the spine by breathing in and looking up at the ceiling, opening up the chest. There's a gesture of a little back bend in the upper and mid spine. And as you exhale, come down with the chest first. So follow with the head, but the chest comes first. We're not going into a curve of the spine. Your arms can interlace the hands, bring them around the tips of the toes, elbows on the outside, and just keep with the chest up. Looking forward, maybe at the top of your mat, so not dumping too heavily in the back of the neck, but just going down with the chest. The arms are on the outside, in the front, if that's available to you. Inhale, come back up, change the position of the hands, take around the ankles, inhale up. Open up the chest, broadening of the whole of the chest. Reach up with the chin to the ceiling. Exhale, draw down with the chest. So there's a little bit of forward flexion with the spine, but it's mostly coming from the hips. You're going forward in the hips. Let me come sideways just to show you the difference here. So if we were doing full flexion of the spine, we would then be coming over. You see the curve in my spine. But in this instance, we're going forward from the hips itself. So the back stays straight. And we're coming forward. Let's inhale. Look up to the ceiling. That little back bend that you might be feeling there. And then exhale. Come all the way forward as much as you can with the chest. Again, we're not dumping down with the spine. And then come back to center. So I'm going to ask you now to draw those knees together and draw the both feet over to the right-hand side. So you can't see my feet. I wanted to show you here, taking that the right foot on top of the arch of the left foot. Here we are. So check into that before we take a little twist to the right hand side. So lifting up nice and tall. Take an inhale. Exhale as you draw the left hand over to the right knee, and that right hand going behind you, and gently even use your left hand to lever a little more as you exhale. Drop the shoulder out of the ear. Let's not have any fat. Come to the nice twist. You can inhale forward. Exhale, go into that twist one more time. Lift up tall. Reach through the crown of the head. Like there's a piece of string pulling you all the way up to the ceiling. Gentle little twist. Bring both hands back to center now, and then find your way into your all 4 points. Remember, wrists above shoulders, knees and hips in line. Take your time to set yourself up. Look through your legs and see if you can see your feet. Move your feet so that you cannot see them, and then they will be in a straight line without curving in. If you have your toes pointing inwards, you do not want to see your toes. Right. Now that everything is aligned, let's go for some cat-cow. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, chin to the chest. Inhale. Just undulating and rippling through that spine in your own breath. Dropping that tailbone down, let's inhale, extend. Exhale, draw the chin to the chest. The tailbone drops down towards the floor. Big curve in the spine. One last time. Go along with the head. Belly drops towards the floor. Exhale, chin to chest. So if you have some blocks, make sure that you can reach them for this next portion. You may need one, you may need two, you may need none. Okay, so from here, I'm going to ask you to tuck your toes, come into downward facing dog. So the hips are going all the way up to sky. And pedal out those feet with your breath. Taking time. You don't even have to make a big a big story about it. You can just take a slow inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Really taking some time to send those hips up to the sky. Press down into whichever heel is making connection with the mat. Lifting up the heel on the opposite side, drawing in the belly. And then maybe you can take both heels down to the mat. It's not necessary. You can have bent knees as well. Wherever you are, just take your time. Be in your down dog. We're going to raise now the right leg to sky. Look at the hands and then step all the way through. Drop that left knee down to the mat. Drop the left foot down to the mat. And then raise the hands. Come all the way up with the hands to the sky. Index fingers join, pointing all the way up to the ceiling, looking up to the ceiling. Squeeze the inner thighs together. And in breath, on the out breath, open up the arms towards the right-hand side. So finding your balance here. Squeeze the thighs together. Reach through those fingertips, maybe even make the fingers wide. And then gently and mindfully sweep that right hand to meet at the front. Take the hands to frame the foot on the mat. And then from there, heel toe, your foot to the edge of the mat. Now you can have your foot, your toes pointing off the mat at about a 35 degrees. And then from there, take your right hand. Left hand goes a little bit more out towards the top of the mat. Right hand comes just below the knee. And then look up and rotate the whole of the chest. Press the knee away. And just see how that feels on this gentle rotation. So you're not pressing for dear life into the leg, but just a gentle pressing. It's more about the rotation of the chest. And check out how the neck is feeling here. If the neck doesn't feel good, then maybe look down at your mat. This is purely looking at opening up the hips. And then come back to center. You can leave your foot where it is as you draw both hands into the inside of that right leg. So you can either have the toes facing forward as we go into lizard pose, it's your choice, or you can have the toes pointing outward. Whichever way you're doing that, make sure your knee is pointing over your big and second toes. Okay, so in the same direction. So here's where you might want to take hold of your blocks. For lizard pose, let's just take a second to adjust the back leg if needs be. Maybe even take a look behind you and see that it is in a straight line. And then drop your elbows down using your block or not. It's your choice. Depending on how deep you want to go into your lizard pose, how it feels for you. You may even like to progress a little further. Tuck that back toe, lift up the leg, go strong in the back left leg. Close the eyes, check in. Two more breaths. Make them long. Make them steady. Everyone doing okay? Great. Drop that back knee down. Start to come off whether you have a block or not. And then from there, with both hands in the center, just gently draw back to 90 degrees in the hip. Take the front right knee and heel toe into the center. And here you might like to take your block when you go into Ardha Hanumanasana. So, Hanumanasana. So take forward the toes. See, I'm like creeping the toes forward. And let's stay in that 90 degrees with the back leg. You may need to adjust it. Just take your time. Keep the toes up towards the ceiling. Maybe press into your blocks. Maybe you have your hands on the floor. And this might be where you're at, hinging forward from the hips. So we're not folded over. We've got straight back. Maybe you're on spider fingers, like so, on the floor. So just feel into the connection of the back of the leg, that front right leg. As you draw the toes back towards the face, take an inhale, and maybe you want to take the hands a little forward and draw the chest down. just as much. You might like to take a little bend in those elbows. So even draw the hands back more and bend in the elbows to allow the torso to go down towards the knee. Hang out here for a moment. Don't overstrain or overstress. Draw back if it's getting too much. 2 more breaths here. Rock forward onto the toes and then draw the foot all the way back. All 4 points, tuck the feet and then come into your downward facing dog. Take a moment there just to pedal out. We're going to go to pigeon pose from here on the right side. So maybe come to that stillness. Draw up through the kneecaps. Draw the kneecaps up towards the hips. Press the hips higher into the sky. So release the knees and draw the right foot up to the sky and draw it all the way under for your pigeon pose on the right side. So I like to take a block and place it under my hip because you don't want the hip to be falling down here. So I like to take this block and just place it here to give me some support. And then placing the hands on either side of the front knee, press up, open up the chest. And if you like, you can start to draw down and draw forward. Or you can stay where you were. It's your choice. You can even take a block here if that is deep enough for you to go today, or take the head all the way down to the mat. Check out how that hip is feeling in this pigeon pose. Maybe you need to soften a little more. If there's some discomfort, but if there's pain, draw out of the pose. If it's just discomfort, maybe you can soften into it and just allow. And as you inhale, come back up to rise. Let's take one more inhale. Tuck the back toe and come back into your downward facing dog. So you can come into this stillness if you prefer, or you can keep pedaling it out. It's your choice in this inversion. Take it as a moment just to rest. And if you feel like you would like to come into that child's pose for a moment, please go ahead and do so. You can always drop the knees down, cross the toes at the back, and then just gently come into a full child's pose at the back, drawing the hands towards the front. And taking your time to come back to down dog as we move over into Anjaneyasana for the left side. Raise your left leg to sky and then step it all the way through. Drop the right knee down to the mat as you draw the hands back and then draw them all the way up to the sky. The index fingers point. And then your left arm is going to go out towards the back. I'm going to quickly turn around so that I'm facing you now. My bad. And then reaching through those fingertips. Finding that connection through the mid-thighs in the midline of the body. Extending out through both fingertips or all 10 fingers through both arms. One more breath. Left arm sweeps down, meets the right arm. Drop the hands to the mat and then heel toe, the toes of the left foot out towards the edge of the mat. So again, they can be on that angle or straight forward. I prefer the foot to be on the angle, about 35 degrees. And then from there, you can lower yourself down into the lizard pose. So you can tuck your back toe, extend that foot long, come down either onto the mat or onto a block. You don't have to have this back leg up. You can have the knee down and the foot flat. But you are on the inside of your left leg. And relaxing now into that big, wide, expansive hip opening posture of lizard pose. Maybe you don't need a block. Maybe you can go a little bit further, a little bit deeper. Maybe come up onto that back foot. Try it out. See how it feels. Extend the leg long. Press into the heel of the extended right leg. Be mindful. Be gentle. It's all good. Drop that right knee down. Heel toe it in a little bit. Sorry, keep the foot there. Keep the foot back where it was. Not bad again. Oh, it's going badly, isn't it? Not actually. And then press away. Look up to the ceiling. Rotate. We're all human. And it's all good. Come back to center. Draw the foot back into the center. Keep your 90 degrees in the back leg. Draw the left foot forward for that Hanumanasana. Ardha Hanumanasana. Maybe you want to take 2 blocks or 2 books. You don't have blocks. Pressing into them, draw the foot back so you can go a little bit further with this front left leg and relax down into it with the spine straight, pressing into your blocks or into the floor, either spider fingers, your choice. So mind if the foot is trying to rotate outwards and make sure that the toes are looking up at the ceiling and you are pressing through, just gently through the heel. It's just really resting on the mat. And then from there you might like to bend in the elbows. Let's take the blocks away. If you feel you'd like to take those blocks away, and then bend in the elbows. Try to keep the chest going down towards the leg and sinking a little bit deeper. For 2. For 1. Draw back up out of your Hanumanasana. Draw the foot all the way back. Come back into your all 4 points. And then tuck the toes, go back into your downward facing dog. Pedal it out or use that stillness to rest. Pigeon pose on the left hand side as you raise that left foot to sky. Draw it all through towards that right hand. Extend your right leg long. Place your block if you need to, if you like. And then lift up. So press into the floor with your arms. Check behind you. Make sure that foot is in one line and not in some angular shape. And then draw yourself all the way down, or not, or stay wherever you are. You might want to have your block here again for your head, or not, but resting all the way down. So it's almost like you want to take your right hip and press the right hip down into the mat. Not your left. Your left, you don't want it to now be out of alignment. And resting on the mat, that's one of the good reasons with props. And don't be afraid to use props. They're like an extension of your body. It's not there to say, I'm not good enough or I can't do. It's there to support you. Beautiful relaxing pose, drawing up now out of that pigeon pose. So I'm going to ask you just to take that block or rolled up towel, whatever you had there, drop onto that left hip and then sweep that right leg all the way around. So now the left leg is tucked underneath, right leg is over the top, or you can have it just resting in the front. You just sit back a little more so you can see. Left leg is tucked under, so you might be here, maybe this is comfortable for you, or you might be here in Matsyendrasana. Be aware that the buttock of the right hip is not sitting on the heel of that left leg. So just notice that, take a moment to, maybe you can wiggle it out, and then just take a second to check in. How does that feel? You're going to raise that left hand to sky and drop it over the right leg, the right knee, and then sweep the right arm behind you, making sure the shoulder is out of the ear and looking behind you on that exhale. And you might like to take the hand and rest it here on the thigh. That feels better for you. Or you might like to progress even further and take the left hand and take hold of the arch of the right foot, the foot that is crossed over. Let's see how that feels. If you inhale looking forward, exhale as you turn and twist and look over the right shoulder. And check into the beautiful stretch that's happening along that right outer thigh. And come back to center. And release the legs. Extend them both forward. Sit up nice and tall in that Dandasana pose that we did earlier. Take the hands down by the sides of the hips. Press into the floor. Maybe you can lift off a little. And drawing the knees up with the right leg this time going under and behind. So this might be enough for you with that left leg bent like so. Or you might like to take it over into Ardha Matsyendrasana. Take a second, check it out. Right arm comes to sky, drops over that left knee. Left arm sweeps behind. Press in and use the knee as a lever, or the arm a lever against that left knee. To maybe take you a little deeper into a twist. Come forward, use your breath. Again, maybe you want to rest that arm down on the thigh or take it over and take hold of the arch of the left leg. I can't do that with my recent shoulder surgery, so do what you can. Come back to center. Exhale it all out. Release both arms. Gently draw yourself up nice and tall. Release the foot. Let both feet come long on the mat. I'm going to ask you for the last two postures to just draw yourself back and roll back on the mat. Take your legs long into the air. Flex and point the toes. Let the shoulders rest down on the floor. And then taking your left leg down towards the mat, you can always bend in the knee first. Bend in the right knee, extend the left leg long. Take a moment. Extend your right leg long. Press through the heel towards the ceiling and see if you can draw that right leg towards you, but keeping the leg straight. And just see what your range of motion is there for the moment. Keeping the left knee down. If it starts to rise up, there'll be a whole release here. So you want to try to keep that left leg long and straight, but if that's not possible for you, that's okay too. So drawing back now, I'm going to ask you to press the heel towards the side of the room or backwards. So you're going to engage this whole back side of the leg and press it away from you, holding on to wherever you are. So whether you are here on the shin or by the ankle, but pressing backwards. So pressing the foot, the leg away from you. Keep pressing. If you have a yoga strap, you could always use that in this position as well. And then release it. Let it go. And then draw the foot a little more, but keeping the length and the straightness in. And you should be able to draw it a little fraction more towards you. Let's engage that back of the leg again. It's pressed into the heel going backwards. The whole of the leg engages, so that whole hamstring, calf muscle into the heel presses back on and away from you. Hold it, keep pressing. Release, and then draw the leg maybe a fraction more, as straight as possible. Let's bend in the knee. Draw it into the chest. Draw in your left knee also into the chest. Extend your right leg long. See if you can extend it all the way along the mat. Release the shoulders down before you extend into the left leg. Keep the leg nice and long and straight. Hold wherever you can. You might even still be only here, and that's fine. Maybe the leg is here. It's okay. That is your range of motion. So using a belt would be ideal. If your leg is only here and you have tight hamstrings, and a lot of us do, So a yoga belt would be the ideal thing, or even a scarf, anything you can get hold of. We'll do the same thing. So let's draw the leg as far forward as possible and then start to engage the muscles in the backs of the leg, that hamstring, calf muscle, into the heel. Press it away from you into the hands so the arms are straight. Make sure your right leg is straight on the floor, because if you notice, if you do bend in that knee, how this whole leg releases. So see if you can keep it straight as much as possible. Press, 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 release, and draw again a little further, maybe towards you. Press up through the heel up to the ceiling. And now let's engage the whole of the back of the leg, pressing into the hands or into that yoga strap. Keep pressing. And relax. Maybe you can notice if you can draw a little further than you could originally. All right, let's relax it all down. Draw in your right knee into the chest. Last pose. As we let the soles of the feet look at the ceiling. Take the hands inside. So let me come here so you can see. We are here, soles of the feet to the ceiling. Take the hands inside. Pull the knees gently towards the armpits in happy baby pose. If that's okay for you, maybe rock from side to side. Take the feet up towards the sky. Let's shake, 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 shake. Release it all out. Such a beautiful rush of energy when you shake and shake and shake, and then just allow the body to rest and relax. Please take your feet down and let them rest at the sides of your mat, so the outer edges of your mat, and allow the knees now just to gently rest against each other. Let the palms of the hands face upwards and find a nice resting pose here. Take a deep inhale. Sigh it all out. And you're welcome to rest here as long as you wish. I hope you enjoyed some hip opening with me today. And join me again in another session with Yoga with Joe from Himalaya Yoga and Trek. From my heart to yours, I wish you a beautiful day. Be safe, be healthy. Namaste.